back once again to Let's Play Robotics Notes Elite. A lot happened in the last episode. Kaito and Akiho returned back to Tanegashima Island, dejected, in low spirits. I was completely, well, yeah, I was completely upset. Things weren't made any easier when we got back to Churo High. Although we did actually encounter Frau Kujiro on the return flight as well, surprisingly. Clearly, she's aware of who Kaito is, obviously, judging from her reactions. But we returned to Churo High to face Vice Principal Usui, and true to form, she was completely adamant that the Robotics Club disband and dissolve immediately. She had promised a budget in the event that we actually won the Robo 1 competition, though I am entirely certain that she would have found a way to renege on that front. Us getting second place at least provides her with the excuse to do so, regardless, but yeah. Fortunately, for Kaito and Akiho, Subaru Hidaki was just happened to be in the vicinity to our benefit, because Kaito had already figured out that he was in fact the Mr. Pleiades that ultimately won and took home the championship. But Kaito was able to use that to his advantage in order to convince, I use that rather loosely, convince the Vice Principal to at least allow the Robotics Club to keep functioning, and also gain Subaru as an involuntary third member of the Robotics Club. So entirely grateful that Usui didn't rob us blind of the 1 million yen prize money we got for runner-up. I was very certain that she would pull that stunt as well, but fortunately she was in too much of a fluster to do that. So yeah, at the end of the day, the Robotics Club remains open. Gunvar 1 isn't going to be scrapped for the time being. And as a celebratory gesture, Akiho is taking the club members, along with the advice of Michi as well, who hardly even contributed anything, just with the exception of the registration form that Kaito needed Subaru to sign. And now that recap is done, we can finally breathe easy and finally look forward to the future. And yet, Kaito was reminiscing about the past because, yeah, Akiho has taken us to the abandoned Space Center area where Kaito normally prefers to play Kill Ballad alone from time to time. When was the last time me, Mizune, and Akiho went to watch a rocket launch together? Must have been a very long time ago. Probably before, long before she went to work for Exoskeleton Company. Surely it must have been 9 years ago for the H2A17 launch. 9 years was also the time frame in which Misaki won the Robo 1 contest and turned her robotics association into an actual club. I remember the day being nice and warm. An early morning in May. There's Kaito playing on his Pokécom, or some variant of it. There's Akiho, exhausted. With them is could only be Misaki herself. She seems like a completely different person. That's because she was a completely different person back then. Mizune was preparing for the following day when she'd be entering Robo 1 for the first time as part of the Robotics Research Association. When did it all go downhill? I'm sure we'll find out the answers to that eventually. After watching the launch early in the morning, she planned on boarding a boat to Kagoshima and then flying to Tokyo from there. Despite it normally being deserted, Uchigoka Park was packed with people. Whenever there was a launch, people from all over would come to the island to watch. I actually launched rockets from that place, but it's normally abandoned. Most of the tourists were adults, but once the rocket launched, everyone's eyes sparkled like children while they looked up at the sky. Of course, the locals joined in as well. Even in this day and age, the launching of a space rocket, I actually don't know if they actually launched them entirely under outer space, but I assume so, since it's a space center, obviously. Watching a space launch, even in this day and age, is very spectacular, as it was way back when. It had become a traditional event that took place about twice a year, but no matter how many times you saw it, it never got old. Although to be fair, we wouldn't get as excited as the people who came to the island just to watch it. I rubbed my tired eyes and played fighting games with Mizune, who just entered high school at the time. Of course, she's got a Pokécom as well, and I think surmise what game these two are playing, or were playing. Indeed. Kaito may have been good at Kill Ballad, but against Misaki, it was an entirely different ballgame.
これで12連勝カイもまだまだね
Yeah, even then she was a prodigy.
ひどいよミサネちょっと手加減してよでもカイって手加減したら怒るでしょ
That's true.
そうだけどま、師匠に勝とうなんて10年早いってことよ
10 years, huh?
もう一回勝負だ
Much like Akiho, Kaito doesn't know when to quit either.
と待って打ち上げ60秒前だって
The sightseers around us started to get excited. The energy was palpable. In less than 1 minute, that rocket will launch. But there was still no movement on the launch pad in the distance.
ほら、アキ、起きなさい。ロケットもうすぐだよ。眠い。
Akiho was still half asleep. I put my game away and patiently waited while holding Mizune's hand. At last we heard a countdown voice come in from the speakers. 5, 4, 3, 2. A cloud of white smoke rose from the launch pad. This was quickly followed by a dazzling light. Then the rocket that looked as small as a faraway speck started spewing smoke and flew up into the sky. Cheers roared from people around us as the rocket leaves a vapor trail. The sounds of applause echoed throughout the park. And then we were hit by a deep, powerful sound, one that reverberated throughout our bodies. The man-made lump of metal cut through the clouds as it rose into the heavens. I remember how gallant it always looked, tragically but heroically drifting through the air, stirring the hearts of all who watched. Most of these launches would obviously be unmanned, but at that time, poetic reasoning like that was irrelevant to me. As all he wanted to do was beat Misaki Tsunomiya at Kill Ballad and be the best. I just earnestly watched the tail of the rocket, even forgetting to breathe. Okay, maybe he was more excited about the rocket than I thought. All I could do was express those instinctive feelings that came from the bottom of my heart as best I could. By my side, Mizune looked up at the sky and, just like me, and shouted,
Go! Hot dog! Go! ミサネ、ホットドッグ食べたいの？前も打ち上げの時、ホットドッグって言ってたよね。昔の映画のセリフ。
After smiling at me, Mizune returned her gaze to the distant sky.
カイ、あなたも男の子なら、ライトスタッフを持つ男になりなさい。
As I was only an elementary schooler at that time, I had no idea what she meant by those words. It was only after Mizune graduated from high school and left the island that I understood what the right stuff meant. Of only acquiring the right stuff was that simple. By then I'd already stopped going to rocket launches. And now here we are again. Once more. The Tanegashima Space Center. The Tanegashima Space Center, TNSC for short, It's on the southern end of the island and is one of 2 launch sites in Japan. First, H2A, a domestic 2-stage rocket that began operations in 2001. It is an updated version of Japan's first domestic rocket, the H2, but the cost of launching has gone down exponentially. The rocket itself also costs far less than those made by other countries. It is 53 meters tall and uses liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen as fuel. The standard model is capable of launching a satellite weighing about 4 tons into orbit. All H2As have been launched from the Tanegashima Space Center, the TNSC. Many called it the most beautiful launch site on Earth, until a few years ago it sent rockets into space about twice a year. I'm waiting alone in the TNSC's chief's office, located in the administration building. Despite being the chief's office, it's pretty modest. Just a business desk and a sofa for guests. Not to mention a shelf, a bookcase full of books all neatly arranged. There's nobody but me in the room. You know, this could very well pass for the office of the president of the Robotics Club. If only. I've been sitting on the sofa and waiting for almost 10 minutes.
Yeah, omatase.
Sadly, of course, this isn't Akiho's office. Oh well. Finally, the chief enters the room, wearing a JAXA work uniform. In each hand he's holding a teacup filled with hot tea. He smiles and puts the teacups down. While he doesn't look like a big shot, he is in fact the chief of TNSC.
びっくりしたな。急に仕事場を訪ねてくるなんて。
He actually seems kind of happy as he sits down across from me. Well, we have a bit to celebrate.
ごめんごめん。社長の方に行ってたものだから。
The moment I complain to him, he bows his head to me. If someone who didn't know anything about our relationship saw us like this, they'd probably be shocked. Makes a nice change from the faculty over at Chuo High. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up thinking that the JAXA chief was having an affair with a local high school girl or something. The reality is nothing that close.
それで秋よ、お父さんに何か言おうかな。話ならうちでもできたろ。
Current chief of the TNSC, Kenshiro Sonomiya, just happens to be my dad. That's all. I clear my throat and adjust my posture.
実はお願いがあって来たの。
娘にお願い事をされるなんて何年ぶりだろうね。
Probably too long. He whispers to himself, a distant look in his eyes.
これは娘が父親にお小遣いをせびるような生優しいものじゃないんだけどな。
Yeah, Yeah, this isn't just a family matter. This is club business. That's why I specifically came all the way here. While I could talk about it with him at home, I wanted to avoid that.
お父さんじゃなくて種子島宇宙センターの所長として聞いてほしい。
あ？うん。
中央種子島高校ロボット研究部と JAXA は技術提携関係にあるよね。
うん、そうだったかな。
そうだよ。
He's playing dumb. So I hit the table with my hand to let him know I'm being serious.
あ、アキオ、落ち着きなさい。
My table bashing shakes the teacups, causing some of the fluid to spill out onto the table. Yeah, that can happen when you do that. The two of us wiped the table clean with some tissues.
お姉ちゃんがロボ部を作った時 JAXA に協力してくれるよう頼んで OK もらったはず。
Yeah. Now that I think about it, sure she was a prodigy, sure she won the Robo 1 competition, but yeah, she was still a high schooler back then, so the fact that Masaki Tsunomiya got cooperation at that time that easily. Yeah, something was going on. In truth, the gunboat 1 currently under construction was built using all sorts of scrap parts from JAXA. But that's just the official stuff.
だからロボ部の手助けをしてほしい。一緒に正義の巨大ロボを作ろう。
In short, this is my real intention.
と言われても、どう手助けをすればいいんだい？
話は簡単。
I smile as I whip out my Pokecon. I then show him the report I frantically put together during class today.
施設人材資金？
その1、施設。ロケット組み立て用の施設をうちらの実物大ロボット組み立てのために貸してほしい。理想はやっぱり VAB。その2、人材。ここで働く技術者の人でロボット工学に詳しい人がいたら紹介してほしい。その3、資金。JAXA の偉い人に頼んでちょっとでいいから軍資金をもらえたら嬉しいな。できれば100万円くらい。
I thought we already had a million yen. I know the third one is asking for a lot, but that's why I'm taking a shot in the dark. It can't hurt to ask. It's hard to believe the Robotics Club was in such dire straits last week. Now we have a ton of unprecedented financial leeway. Yeah, not as much leeway as you probably would have liked, Akiho. We got 1 million yen as prize money from Robo 1 after all. It's as if the same amount we earned from the last 9 years of club funding just suddenly fell into our laps.
ねえ、どうかな。
Dad pushes out a strained laugh. Yeah. It was never going to be that simple. And, a lot has changed in those 9
う
years.
ちは本気なんだけど。
ああ、そうなのかい。でもね、そう言われてもね。
Crap. He's totally trying to brush me off with a smile. I can't rely on the version of Dad that's in front of me right now. The aura he's projecting just shows that there's no use. If that's the case, then I need to recover before it's too late. But how?
無理でしょう。
Instant rejection. There wasn't even time to recover. But I don't plan on backing down just yet. If Big Sis could get JAXA to cooperate, then so could I. Yeah, That's unfortunately going to be a bit of a tall order there, Akiho. As the chief's daughter, I'm sure things will work out if I keep pushing. It'd be a real problem if they didn't. That's basically what dads are for, right? Be that as it may, Akiho, I get the feeling that Kenshiro actually doesn't want to be known for having the reputation of family favoritism.
ガンツクワンの完成はお姉ちゃんの夢でもあるんだよ。だからどうしても完成させたいの。それでね、来年開かれる東京万博に出展するんだ。で、東京にいるお姉ちゃんにも見に来てもらう。どう？素敵な考えじゃないかな。
This is the first time I've told Dad about my dream.
お父さんだってロボット大好きだよね。だから言い換えれば、ガンツクワンはうちら親子の夢でもあるわけ。というわけで、お願い、手伝って。もう残された時間はあんまりないの。
秋穂。
Dad looks deeply moved as he locks eyes with me. That's almost immediately followed up with a long sigh. Yeah, I knew that could last.
無理だよ。
お父さん。
いや僕の仕事を勘違いしちゃいけないよ。
I hesitate to ask, but what exactly is your job as the chief of JAXA? He stands up like he's trying to escape and gazes out the window.
所長と言ったって何でもかんでも好き勝手できるわけじゃないんだから。所詮管理職というかなんというか。それにね、今の TNSC には予算も人材もないんだ。
I know JAXA's probably fallen on hard times between then and now.
予算縮小ってことだよ。最近はロケットも打ち上げてないからね。
Yeah. Once again, the fact that Misaki managed to get cooperation with JAXA virtually immediately raises a lot of suspicious flags in my mind. And now their budget has been diverted?
ましてや施設を私的に使おうなんてとてもとても僕はクビになってしまうよ。
なんか夢も希望もないね。
I always thought he was kind of reliable, but I didn't think it was this bad. The only silver lining here is that he's not as bad as Mitchie. Heart's about to break.
すまないね、協力できなくて。これはなんていうか夢とかそういうものとは関係なくてね、世知辛い社会のルールと言えばいいのかな。組織が大きくなればなるほど融通も効かなくなっちゃうわけでね。もちろん娘のお願いをなんとか聞いてあげたいっていう気持ちだけはあるんだけどね。お父さんのポケットマネーから資金を出そうにも財布は母さんに握られてるし
お父さん、それ以上言わなくていいから、うちまで悲しくなる。
I want to cover my ears. I want to lose all my memories of the last 30 minutes.
お邪魔しました。
Things are not that simple.
お茶ぐらい飲んでったらどうだい。あ、そうだ、この前筑波に研修に行ってた大前くんからのお土産があって。
お父さん、
He's trying to get me to stay, but I cut him off.
昔のお父さんは自分の夢にまっすぐで純粋で、うちはそんなお父さんが好きだった。でも今のお父さんからは情熱を感じないよ。そのことが寂しい。
秋穂。
Disheartening thing for a daughter to say to her father. Big sis were here right now, she'd probably be even more upset than I am. Sorry, than I am. Oh, Akiho. You don't fully understand just how much things have changed.
ねえお父さん、あの頃の情熱がもしまだ残ってるなら協力を。
いや、それはだから無理だって。
If he's not going to have a change of heart now, when will he? When will he? Perhaps never is the possible answer. Stupid dad, why can't you read the room? To be fair, I think he's reading it perfectly well, Akiho. I'm pretty sure I inherited that quality from them. Not necessarily. I want to ruffle Kai's hair so badly right now. Well, fortunately for Kaito, he's not in the room. The Kai isn't here, so I start squeezing the Fink toy I have hanging from the back of my Pokemon instead.
お父さんなんてもう頼らないよ。
I spit out my words and rush out from the office. If this is the adult world, I want nothing to do with it, but I'm not going to say that out loud. get that my requests are absurd. I knew there was no way I'd get everything I wanted. But he could have at least said, like, I do my best or something. That alone would have made me happy. I actually would have thought at the very least they might have had some sort of cooperation with the Robotics Club. The old dad who used to talk passionately about space development and mecha anime with Kai and I would have done that. I guess even now I might still be wishing for that ideal dad from back then. And meanwhile, Kaito is back with his usual stint of Kill Ballad Online. There's a strong wind coming in from the sea and it's kind of irritating. But first we have some tips to look forward to. Don't know what happened there. VAB stands for Vehicle Assembly Building, a facility located at the Osaki Launch Complex and the Tanegashima Space Center that is capable of maintaining two H-2A rockets at the same time. The single sliding door facing the launch station is 67 meters high, 27 meters across, 2.5 meters thick, and weighs around 363 metric tons, making it one of the largest doors in the world. Of course, those doors are not going to be housing Gun-Build 1 anytime soon. Messing up my hair and breaking my focus on Kill Ballad. It's almost like the wind is doing Akiho's job for her. I look away from my Pokemon and take a breather. I'm sitting on the wide lawn of the Tanegashima Space Center. There's a replica H-2 rocket there, along with several benches. There it is, over behind the sign. It's not a bad environment to relax in, but it's way too remote. Well, if we're talking direct distance, it's closer to my house than the school is. It just feels further away. The sun is setting rather epically behind the headquarters. There aren't many whimsical locals who would intentionally come to the end of the island like this. I take a look around. As expected, there are barely any people in the area. Hence its quietness. In the distance I see one local middle-aged man playing golf by himself. There aren't even that many employees stationed here at the TNSC. During rocket launches, engineers arrive from off the island and the staff grows 3 times larger, or so they say. But that was only when rockets used to be launched from here. Now, the main force behind JAXA's space exploration has shifted to the Epsilon rocket, which we're about to find out all about in the tips list. Epsilon, a next-generation small-scale rocket developed by JAXA. It is 24 meters long. The rocket allows for far more efficient assembly and inspection, and the launch control system was revamped dramatically. Only a single laptop is required to launch the rocket. It first saw use in 2016, with all launches being done from the Kagoshima Space Center, which is now referred to as the Ichinura Space Center. Since Epsilon is smaller than the H2A and H2B models, launching Tanegashima in size doesn't match TNSC's facilities. H2B, a larger upgraded version of the H2A rocket that began operations in 2009. The rocket stands at 57 meters tall. It is a complete upgrade from the H2A with upgraded specifications that more than doubled its maximum launch capacity. So Epsilon rockets are always launched from Ichinura. I want to say 3 times a year, give or take. Ichinura, a city that was located on the east side of the Yosumi Peninsula in Kagoshima Prefecture. It was merged with Takayama in 2005 to form the town of Kimosuki. The JAXA the Uchinura Space Observatory resides in the former town. Even though the city's name has changed, JAXA staff members and space development enthusiasts still refer to it as Uchinura. The Uchinura Space Observatory is one of the 2 rocket launch sites in Japan and was created by ISAS, the Institute of Space and Astronautical Science, in 1963. It has launched over 400 small-scale rockets, including M5, Epsilon, and many others. Since the launch of Hayabusa 2 several years ago, there hasn't been a single launch from Tanegashima. Oh well. I haven't even visited this place in like 12 or 13 years. So basically, the Space Center is just another relic. As for why I'm here sitting here by myself, it's obviously because the Robotics Club president dragged me here. Akiho's visiting her dad, aka the guy who runs this joint. I was pretty shocked yesterday when she suddenly talked about storming into JAXA. But once I cooled down and thought about it, it dawned on me that she was going to use her inside connections. Not that I expect that to go very well. Indeed, it didn't. I give a wry smile and boot up Kill Ballad again.
お、フラウコウジロじゃなくてコウジロフラウだっけ
Going up against Ms. Frau Kujiro herself. I got pretty nervous at the airport yesterday, didn't I? I never expected Kill Ballad's creator to be a girl, or such a young one at that. We're actually getting from text chat from Frau. Anyway, learning about more internet lingo. Terra, a prefix used for units, which means 10 to the 12th power. It was used as net slang in the 2000s based on this measurement. By adding terra to the beginning of various words, particularly adjectives, it gave the words a more terrible or extreme nuance. Terra coincidental indeed. That's just Frau's unique vernacular there, Kaito. Yeah. For those of you who have absolutely no idea what our channel is, you get to find out. Japan's most accessed online anonymous forum from the 2000s to the early 2010s. Its catchphrase is, everything from hacking to tonight's dinner. Its boards discuss everything from underground topics to normal news. Nowadays, with the advent of microblogging and other similar applications, our channel is not as popular as it once was, but it is still around, even to this day. Yes, indeed. The Frau Kujiro. I don't need your forgiveness, Frau. Yeah, she did decide to help Kaito out with reprogramming the controls. Goggle. Net slang used in the 2000s to look up something on the internet. Thanks very much for that enlightening tip there. Yeah, could have been better. Could have been much better. Yeah, basically, Frau was a celebrity, because of course she is. FTW. Net slang originating in the 2000s, short for the win, used to express excitement about the subject. Internet lingo. slang used in the 2000s, short for seriously. Yeah, Kaito's very, very high up. The old airport, eh? Yes, we're drowning lingo now. Net slang, sorry, deets please. Net slang used in the 2000s. Short for further details, please. And she's gone. Baby Rob. Soon as I put my Pokecom away, Akiho returns.
かい
Yeah, now there's an expression that screams I'm not in a good mood.
意外と早かったね。あと1時間くらいはかかると思ったよ。
だね。全然話になんない。
Akiho was clearly disappointed.
だろうね。
だろうねって。
アキちゃんの要求はいくらなんでも無茶すぎだよ。おじさん困ってたんじゃない？
And I wonder how Misaki's requests would have been classified back in the day.
お父さんなら絶対食いつくと思ったんだけどな。東京にある本社にお伺い立ててみるとか、そういうこともせずにね、いきなり断ったんだよ。
Something tells me he clearly doesn't have the clout that JAXA chief probably would have had way back when.
もうがっかりしちゃった。頑張るアンクストライカーを出しそうになったよ。
Spilling tea is bad enough, Akiho. We don't need to be kicked out of the place. She's starting to get heated up again, which means I need to calm her down lest she complain forever.
まあいきなり欲張らずに段階を踏んでいけばいいんじゃない？
段階か。
身の丈に合ったところからってね。アキちゃんは理想が高すぎるんだよ。
理想は常にビッグにだよ。
I noticed that she didn't put on her glasses this time. I guess that's not one of her usual references. Yeah, that's because it wasn't. A wry smile still on my face, I stand up and walk to the parking lot where our scooters are, hoping to end the topic. Akiho follows a little ways behind me.
っていうか、今日来なかったスバルには罰として部室の掃除させよう。
I was gonna say, speaking of Subaru, where the hell is he? And also Michi, for that matter. Actually,
ま
scratch
た
that.
その話？俺に愚痴るより本人に直接言いなよ。
だっていくらなんでもあんな言い方しなくてもいいのに、仮にもうちの方が年上なんだよ。
生意気なのは前から分かってたじゃん。
Yeah, we pretty much knew ever since we met him. Just a few hours ago, Akiho was talking about storming into TNSC today, but Subaru had a sound argument as to why he refused to come along.
僕は行きませんよ。ナンセンスですから。そもそも TNSC はロケット発射場なんです。それくらいは間抜けな部長でももちろん理解していますよね。
Again, which would beg the question. The niggling question. Of course, nobody ever thought to ask why the red carpet would be laid out for Misaki Tsunomiya when she made demands of her own. Nobody ever bothered to question why.
間抜けって。
ロケットを打ち上げる施設とロボット工学の間にどんな関係があるのか教えてほしいですね。
If only people asked that question 9 years ago.
JAXA には宇宙ロボティクス部門っていうれっきとした研究部門が。
あることを僕が知らないとでも。もちろん把握しています。当然でしょう。それを前提で話していたんですが、失礼。どうやら食い違いがあったようですね。宇宙ロボティクス部門研究者の助言を得たいなら、東京か筑波へ足を運ぶことをお勧めしますよ。
So he's not here.
今思い出してもムキーってなるよ。なんであんなにへりくつなんだろう。
へりくつじゃないでしょ。むしろ正論すぎる。
カイはスバルの肩持つの？
案の定断られたわけだし。態度は生意気だけど将来有望な後輩だと思うよ。
そりゃうちはダメな部長だけど。
アキちゃんとしては現状のままズルズルいくのは嫌なんでしょ。だったら変化を受け入れることも必要なんじゃない？
Says the guy who wants nothing more than to be the number one guy in Kill Balor.
なんて俺が偉そうに言うことじゃないけどね。
Yeah, well, I'm glad you finally gotten a modicum of self-awareness there, Kaito.
じゃあカイも変化を受け入れてくれる？
変化？
Now you've done it.
ガンツクワンのパイロット、うちはカイしか考えてないから。
はあ？
Looks like Frau Kajiro's handiwork has given her some inspiration.
ちょっと待った。パイロットって何それ？初耳なんだけど。
パイロットって言ったらガンツクワンに乗り込んで操縦する役に決まってるでしょ。ロボットアニメの花形、一番目立つところだよ。やっぱりパイロットは男の子であるべきなの。だからうちはあえて身を引いたのさ。カイはロボワンでもオペレーターだったんだし、スバルに名誉を譲るのはなんか尺でしょ。だからカイに。
やだよ俺。そんなの名誉でもなんでもないって。むしろ生贄っていうのがふさわしいね。
何それ、どういう意味？
Basically, Kaito is content on merely being a bit player in life.
だってアキちゃんが作った代物でしょうが。どう考えても歩く棺桶でしょう。命がいくつあっても足りないよ。危なすぎる。なあ、そもそも歩くかどうかも怪しいけど。
And again with the ruffling.
ちょっ。
Here we go again. She always does this when she doesn't like what I'm saying. Akiho storms off ahead of me.
カイ、帰りにロンソー寄ってくから。
はいはい、お供しますよ。ついでだからね。
Yeah, she's mad. In the end, we gained absolutely nothing of value today. Nothing whatsoever. Meanwhile, with Subaru.
ただいま。
But that will have to wait until later. So, when we return, shall get a glimpse of Subaru Hidaka's family life. As always, until next we meet.